Hey, it's Jim. I figured since we did the angle grind the last time, this time it's going to be curved grind on a 2-layer. So, got a couple of those right here. I'm going to try something a little different with this video, so if it works, will be great. I'm going to try and do some macros of the actual grind as we do it. That way things will make a little more sense. So, here's the goal. So, of course not to scale. What we're doing is taking this area, instead of having it fairly squared off like that, we're cutting through that way. What that gives you is something that sort of approximates a togi of one kind or another. Here's the thing though. Once we've got this is really not to scale. This upper area has to be shaved down. Otherwise, you're not going to get, eventually, that fabulous teardrop shape that we're looking for. So, you got to come in and take that guy off. That's why I want to try and do some macro stuff. Oh, it actually makes sense, and you can see what I'm doing. How about that? So, let me set up the Fordham, grab one of these poor unsuspecting nibs, and we'll do this. I'm going to use this diamond guy just to do a little faster on my end. So, let's see what happens. Okay, let's take off some of the angle here. Yeah, that looks nice. Do it again. Okay, got that. So, give me a second. Let's see if I can set up this macro thing so it makes sense. Alright, this is going to be terribly out of focus for a second. And see. Round off area. Next step is to take my thumb. And I'm going to round this down. You'll end up having to recut that bevel grind. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. So let me stop this, take a little Lindsay bit off, curve it again, redo this, and we'll see if the little Lindsay thing helps out again. So hold on. Alright, this is going to be terribly out of focus for a second. And see. Round off area. Next step is to take my thumb. And I'm going to round this down. You'll end up having to recut that bevel grind. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. So let me stop this, take a little Lindsay bit off, curve it again, redo this, and we'll see if the little Lindsay thing helps out again. So hold on. Okay. Important thing, you want to make sure there's very little gap in there between the lower and the top, because that's going to give you a scratchy when you're writing. Scratchy bad. That's not too bad. That's a little bit better. So let's recut that side. You don't have to do it quite as much. One even. That's better. So what I want to do now that we've established that grind is chuck this guy. This is a stacked leather burr. It's really kind of interesting. Let me draw this out. So what you've got now are sharp edges along the curve. So much like with the Super Architect, you want to gently roll those in and take the sharp edges off. Because if you don't, you're going to get a lot of scratch. So let's do that. Okay, so there's the basics. It's got a little bit of burr at the top, which to me isn't exactly surprising. But we can fix that with the next thing, which of course is my favorite burr in the world, the one step. This is where you get into weird shaping. It's not bad, it's just different. And mind you, as I've said before, you don't need to buy a machine like this. You can get diamond stones, sandpaper. You could even use standard sharpening stones. It'll just take you a while. I'm just using this because I'm trying to be expedient. The thing about the curve is you lose more tipping material than I really prefer, but there's not a lot you can do about that, especially when you're working with a medium nib rather than something larger. So let me chuck this in my trusty Jinhao, and we'll see how it writes. So here we are with a cleaned up nib. Piece of fairly fountain pen friendly paper because this stuff is absorptive. So high angle, So, from what I've seen, you've probably got a medium here. This is definitely broad. This is broad plus. See if we get it really low to the paper. Which is kind of funny because it sort of transitions back here. What about upside down? Looks like a find to me, which is really cool. Now the best and most fun thing about stacked nibs, in my opinion, okay, no, that's a lie. A neat thing about them is you can roll them sideways. Thanks to capillary action, which is your friend, not only does the ink go this way, it goes this way through the different layers. So, here you go. This was your on a medium. How's that? I'll get out there and grind some metal.